preparing to live stream the meeting. 2 more minutes, I think. Yes, that's it. Now, yeah, okay. It's on YouTube as well. Okay, so I think we can start now. Hello, everyone. Very nice to see you. There are some familiar faces, and with the rest of them will become familiar, we hope. Now, let me give you some brief information about our distinguished guest, Dr. Arzu Ekoç. She is here with us today. Arzu Ekoç received her BA degree from the Department of Translation and Interpreting Studies from Boğaziçi University in 2005, and her master's in ELT from İstanbul University in 2008. She completed her PhD in ELT at İstanbul University in 2013. Arzu Hocam has been working as an English lecturer at Yıldız Technical University in Istanbul, Turkey since 2006. Her research interests are learner identity, higher education and continuing education, discourse analysis, EAP, and second language writing. Some of the things are, of course, we can not here. We cannot give you enough information about Arzu Hocam. She's an art lover also. She likes doing so many things, and I'm so happy and honored to have her here today. Thank you, Arzu Hocam, for dedicating your valuable time here with us. Thank you. Very nice to see you. So it's over to you.
Sibel Hocam, it is very kind of you. Thank you for your kind words. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I guess you have had your morning classes and now you're here. And this comes to mean that you believe in the importance and value of teacher development. And it's great to see this. And we are part of a very noble profession. And I can feel this better in such gathering, in such events, when I see this teaching community. And once again, I should admit I am proud of being a teacher. And today I will talk about, let me share my screen. Okay, creating bonds in language classes. Okay, and now I would like to start with a story, with a classic. You are all familiar with that, The Little Prince. The Little Prince tells the story of a child who travels the universe gaining wisdom. The narrator of the story is a pilot who has crash-landed in a desert. He encounters a small boy, the little prince, who comes from a very small planet with 3 volcanoes and a rose. And a rose grows on this planet, and the prince loves her with all his heart. However, her vanity and demands become too much for the prince, and the prince leaves this planet, and he starts traveling from one planet to another. And on Earth, he comes across a rose garden. It's very depressing to find that his beloved rose is not so unique in the universe. And he meets a fox, and the fox tells him that if he tames something he loves, or if he tames someone he loves, if he establishes bonds with it, then it will be unique and joy to each other. And the little prince learns the secrets of life from this fox. When we have a look at these lessons, what have we learned from the fox and the little prince? The fox gives 3 important lessons. The first one, only the heart can see correctly. The second one, the prince's time away from his planet has made him appreciate his rose more. So reflection, just giving some space, helped him to appreciate his rose much better. He started to treat it as special and as individual. So sometimes we need some space, we need some reflection to look better, to see better. And love entails responsibility. We are responsible for someone or something we have established bonds with. Gönül bağı kurduğumuz her şeyden sorumluyuz. So we have learned these valuable lessons from this fox and the little prince. And now I would like to continue with one of my favorite poems by Emily Dickinson. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life to aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin onto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. Why are these so special for me? The Little Prince and this poem by Emily Dickinson. They are all about creating bonds, establishing bonds, treating someone or something as special. And in teaching, this is also the case. It is more than teaching the school subject. It is about establishing bonds. We are all emotional beings. We all want to be seen and feel valued, right? And as teachers, we are not robots, and students are not robots either. And we deal with humans. And we all have needs, right? And we want those needs to be met by the other person. And in education, when we talk about needs, 2 hierarchies come to our minds. I can hear you are saying Maslow and Bloom, right? Okay, and there is a popular quote, and you know it's very popular on social media. It says that one cannot bloom unless he or she Maslows. So when we have a look at Maslow's hierarchy, we can understand that it is very difficult to move from one step to another unless one meets his or her needs in that specific step. And in the first step, we can see physiological needs, such as air, water, food, and sleep. And then comes our safety needs, such as security, employment, and health needs. And during the pandemic, they're at risk, right? And then comes love and belonging needs. We want friendship bonds, we want intimacy, we want our family members to be around us, and we want to have a sense of connection. So we want so many things. Okay, and then esteem needs and self-actualization. And you know, and nowadays during the pandemic, many people are talking about self-actualization, learning new skills, learning new language. For example, just learning how to code. I don't know, is it that possible? Some people are trying to keep themselves together. Some people are trying to keep their mental and physical health together. And this is okay. And because we are going through tough times, I hope we will get through this soon. But some people are talking about self-actualization. Although we are in the first step, second step, maybe in the third step. And today I will focus on the step, love and belonging needs. Okay, I have some reflective questions for you. Please use the chat box. And if you are watching me from YouTube as live or later from the recording, you can reflect upon yourself. You can have a piece of paper, you can write it. And now you can use the chat box. Dear participants, I have 2 reflective questions for you. The first one is this. Remember a teacher from your past, okay, dear colleagues, one who left a strong positive impression on you. What was the atmosphere in the classroom? Okay, what were his or her special qualities? You can use some adjectives, right, to define your role model teacher, favorite teacher. I'm waiting for your answers. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen. I will go back to the chat box so that I can see, okay, your answers. For example, objective. What else? Just think about your favorite teacher in the past who has left strong positive impression on you. Ali Hocam says primary school teacher. He or she can be primary school teacher, English teacher, friendly person, kind person. Mehmet Hoca says caring person. Tülay Hoca says polite person, respectful person, supportive person. Okay. So you are using positive adjectives, right, to describe that person. Let's go back to those reflective questions there. Okay, just wait for a second here. And now I have another question for you. Okay, you remembered your teacher from the past, a teacher who left positive impression on you. Now, what is it like to be taught by you? Okay, be objective. Do you share similar characteristics with your role model teacher, or are you different from your role model teacher? You can write same or different. Okay. I again stop sharing my screen. You can write to the chat box. Think about yourself. Reflect on yourself. What about you? Do you share the similar characteristics with your role model teacher, or are you different? Mehmet Hoca says, I am trying. So which adjective did you use, Mehmet Hocam? Let's remember, caring. Okay, you are trying to be a caring person. Thank you for the answer. And other participants, and also the ones who are watching me live on YouTube, I know you are murmuring. Okay, I can hear you, or if you watch from the recording. Fun person, and Ali Hocam, you are also a fun person, huh? Okay, you make jokes in the classroom. Okay, any other comment, any other answer, dear participants? Are you different or the same? It's enough to say different or same. I know, reflections are difficult to have. We need to be objective.
May I say something?
Sure,
may I say,
please.
May I add something? May I make a comment?
Please.
My role model, maybe not role model, but something I cannot forget is my geography teacher. That's interesting because I've never liked geography, but I like my geography teacher. She was always very respectful, unlike, because in my time, maybe I don't know how to say it, but because we were young and small children, we didn't get much respect. This person, she treated us as if we were all really grown-up individuals. She talked to us in that way, but she was also, like Ali Hocam said, loving and also caring. And when she graded our papers, she sort of calculated everything because she did. She really wanted to be objective, and that's what I really wanted to share. Thank you.
Very good example, very good anecdote. Thank you, Sibel Hocam. And also, one of our colleagues wrote, Aslıhan Hocam, I try to understand my students' feelings. Their emotions are important. So you share similar characteristics with your role model teacher. And Tülay Hocam says, I'm trying to resemble him or her. Thank you for your replies. Let's go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, now we started reflecting upon ourselves. We will continue, I can promise that. Why I have asked those questions to you? Why are previous role model teachers effective in teachers' beliefs and practices? I guess most of you have some answers for that. Teachers are affected by their previous experiences as students, not as teachers. We have many years of teaching experience, it is okay, but we are affected by our experiences as students. Once we were students, we had role model teachers or one teacher, and we are trying to act in a similar way. So we are imitating that person. Act in a way that our role model teacher or teachers had acted before. And we are trying to create similar classroom environments. But if our role model teacher was a strict one, so we are trying to be a strict teacher as well. And this can cause some negative consequences in the classroom. For example, students can drop out from our lessons, or there can be low attendance ratio. So if this environment is negative, we need to realize this by reflection, by self-reflection, and we should change the way we act in the classroom. But if we don't prefer to do this, nothing can help us. So this is very important. And this is one of my favorite quotes of Maya Angelou. I know you all know this. Let's go. Okay, over this. I have learned that people will forget what you said, forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So feelings are very important. What we remember are the feelings. Feelings are the things left from an event, from the classroom, from our memories. And we should be aware of the feelings we cause in other people. And now, okay, I would like to give you some reflective questions, but I don't want you to give answers now. Maybe at the end of the session, if we have some time left, we can go back and try to answer these questions. Because these are critical questions, and I'm curious how you would act in those situations. For example, scenario 1, in this first event, how do you handle, what do you say when a student says, "Teacher, I am not feeling okay these days"? During the lesson, all of a sudden, she or he says this, "I am not feeling okay these days." How do you handle with this? What do you say to that student? And the second one, if there's a student who shows disinterest towards your lesson, how do you handle that? Or do you act as if that student didn't exist in your classroom? Do you start ignoring that student? Or do you come up with a solution? I am curious about your answers. At the end of the session, we may go back to these questions and we can talk, we can exchange our ideas. And the third one is this. A student criticized you or the content of the lesson in the middle of the lesson. For example, he or she raised his or her hand virtually or in face-to-face teaching. "Teacher, I want to say something. I want to share my ideas." You said that, "Oh, dear student, please." Then she started saying that, "Oh, teacher, I don't like the content of the lesson. I find the materials problematic." Or she came up with a criticism about you, but not harsh criticism, but very directly. Okay, how do you handle that? What would you say to that student? Okay, you got the questions. We have 3 questions in mind. The first one, a student who is not feeling okay these days. The second one, a student who shows disinterest towards your lesson. And the last one, a student who criticized you or the content of the lesson all of a sudden in the middle of the lesson. Okay, how would you act? Let's keep those questions in mind and let's continue. Okay. Now, I would like to underline one of my favorite quotes again. Treat people as if, treat people as if they were what they ought to be and you help them to become what they are capable of. So teachers, should see their students as the way they are. They are unique in their own way. They are beautiful in their own way. They are beautiful. But teachers should see their potential as well. They should treat them as special and as individuals, as special individuals in the classroom. And we should keep our expectations higher from our students, right, in the classroom. And we should treat our students with care, love, and attention. And so, TLC is important, especially during these tough days. tender loving care, TLC. It's a psychological term, but we can transfer this term into teaching as well. Students don't need more materials. Students don't need photocopiable materials, but students need our attention and love and caring in the classroom more than ever during the pandemic. We all need, I can admit this. I can confess this. And now, I would like to underline what we should know about creating bonds, okay? Some key points, and it's not a one-time event. We all know this. To gain mutual respect takes days and months, and we know this from our friendship bonds, right? And only time is not the answer. But what you do with the time that fosters bonding and creates a caring community is critical. And I believe that, I told you at the beginning of the session, we are part of a very noble profession. And I believe this from the bottom of my heart. Teachers do not disconnect from their students intentionally. I believe all the teachers, okay, let's say most of the teachers have good intentions. For example, when you ask your students to do homework, when you check their homework, when you say, you haven't done your homework, when you start reprimanding them, you have good intentions. But there are some small moments in life, also in the classroom, that leave students feel less valued. We don't intend to do so, but some of our actions cause that, unfortunately. As teachers, we should reflect on ourselves every single day. And when students feel they matter, their levels of motivation and achievement are more likely to increase, and strong teacher-student relationships can be associated with short and long-term improvements, such as, for example, higher levels of engagement. We are all talking about engagement. I know, motivation, engagement. They are trendy topics in many webinars. And higher grades, fewer disruptive behaviors, and lower school dropout rates. And so we know this, right? We are emotional beings. When people believe they are important, anything works. When they don't believe they are important, nothing works. Okay. And now I would like to talk about components of engagement. I know many people are talking about that. Engagement is composed of three components: cognitive engagement, emotional engagement, and behavioral engagement. And today, maybe in the session, as we focus on love and belonging, we focus on emotional engagement. And emotional engagement has three elements. What are they? Learning community. We should establish learning community. I don't know how we can do that. We should establish. You can have your Google Classroom, you can have your WhatsApp group. I don't know which medium, which tool you prefer. We should have our learning community that continues outside class hours. And we should have strong relationships with our students. And we should have growth mindset. What does it mean, growth mindset? We have two terms, right? Growth mindset and fixed mindset. Growth mindset means, for example, I can't play the violin. I am not good at playing the violin, but I say that I haven't tried this. I haven't taken a course yet. Yet is the key word. For example, a student is bad at vocabulary. He or she can't remember vocabulary. He or she can say that I haven't tried this technique yet. I haven't tried this strategy yet. So he or she doesn't give up. So a person should have growth mindset to show emotional engagement towards the lesson, towards the school subject or the content. And now I'd like to ask this question. Is there a magic wand? Okay. Yes. Some of you say yes. Some of you say no. Okay, yes and no. Okay. maybe politically correct answer. Okay, we will see. It depends on our actions in the classroom. And for example, how you treat people, what you say people, how you say something says a lot about who you are. So at the end of each class hour, we should leave our students with a smile, with a hug. Okay, during the pandemic, no hug, but virtual hug. You can send emoticons to your students and a kind thought. Okay, and now how can we achieve this? We should gather information. I know you are all doing this, but let's remember. We can do this as survey at the beginning of the lesson, or for example, we can talk to our students. If your memory is not strong enough, you can keep a journal and you can write your students' interests, hobbies to that journal. And for example, is your student interested in art? For example, I'm interested in art, as Sibel Hoca has mentioned. For example, he or she likes reading books, he or she likes watching movies, TV series. Learn your students' interests, right? But then what we should do with that information, just keeping those information in mind, is it enough? No. We should turn this information into a conversation, into a meaningful exchange of ideas. We shouldn't forget our target. We shouldn't forget our goal. We want to enhance their speaking skills, English, for example, reading skill, writing skill, what the goal of that lesson is. So we should turn that information into a meaningful conversation. And we can use 5 or 10 minutes of each day, maybe each week, if your pacing is very important, if you're trying to catch up with pacing or curriculum. I know we have a burden on our shoulders. And use those moments and to ask questions unrelated to school subject, about the student's weekend, about his or her dog, any hobby. Okay. Then come up with another question. For example, that student says that, oh, teacher, I'm interested in chess. Keep that information in mind. And in the following lesson, ask a question. Oh, have you ever watched Queen's Gambit? You know, that TV series is about chess. Have you watched that? Then that student will feel that, oh, my teacher cares me. And she has kept that information in mind. For example, that student has mentioned that he or she is interested in art, in paintings. You say that, oh, have you watched, for example, the film Loving Vincent? Have you watched Van Gogh at Eternity's Gate or The Girl with a Pearl Earring? Have you watched those films? Then we can discuss. Or for example, that student is interested in literature, or have you watched the film about the Oxford Dictionary, The Professor and Madman? So you can turn this into a conversation. This is critical. We should keep them in mind. I know you are just saying that, oh, Arzu, we have lots of work to do. I have many papers to grade. How I can keep those information in mind? So we should have a journal and we should keep them. While students are talking, I guess you can write. Ayşe, for example, interested in chess. Ahmed is interested in football. Okay, no gender discrimination. Ayşe is interested in football as well. It can be another hobby. Okay, so we should ask related questions afterwards. And we should get feedback from our students to enhance our classes. But I should warn you, I know, you know this, if you are sincere, ask your students to evaluate you, to give feedback to you. If you are a kind of person who feels offended when they criticize you, don't ask them to criticize you, okay? If you get angry very easily, don't ask that question. For example, I had a teacher and one day she asked us to criticize the lesson, format and content of the lesson during the doctorate degree, okay? You can imagine, we are all grown-ups. And one of my colleagues started criticizing the content of the lesson, maybe a bit pacing, and then she got really mad and she started to raise her voice. And I guess this shouldn't be the way right? This is not the way we should do things. We should put a barrier between our ego and criticism, right? If you are ready, if you are sincere, ask students to give feedback to you. For example, you can ask these questions. How can I help you be more successful in class? And what do you like best and least about our class? What could I do to make the class more interesting for you? Or you can offer students some generic starters. For example, I would have blah, blah. I would like to know more about blah, blah. I wish, I feel. One thing I would like to change in this class is. So you can ask your students to give feedback, but students can understand who is sincere, who is not. They have sensors. So unless you are sincere, don't ask them to give feedback to you. And another thing we should keep in mind, get personal, right? Don't forget to share your own interests. If you have a cat, if you have a dog, show its photos to your students, right? Once they become familiar, your cat and dog will be more popular than Garfield and Snoopy in the classroom. And in the following lessons, they will ask you questions about your cat and dog. And then you can understand which student is following your lesson, which student is on the same line with you, which student is not sleeping during the lesson, if they're interested in the story. And care their problems. It's not our job to offer solutions. We are not counselors, we are not psychologists, psychiatrists, but at least we can show our concern, right? And keep your interests real and genuine. For example, in the classroom, if your student has come up with a problem, don't say and just continue with the content of your lesson. Show interest, and maybe after the class hour, you can ask related questions. Okay, now I would like to remind you a story which you are all familiar with. You know the story, right? When you see this photo, the princess and the pea, right? You know the story. And there's a prince, and he wants to get married, but he has difficulty finding the right woman. One day, at a rainy and stormy night, a young woman is looking for a shelter. Then she finds this castle, the castle of the prince. And she says that, oh, I'm a princess. I would like to stay here for a night. And then they say, okay, but the princess mother doesn't believe in her. The princess mother doesn't believe that she's a real princess. So she wants to test the sensitivity of the princess, and she puts P under many layers of that. And in the morning, she wakes up and she says that, oh, I couldn't sleep last night. Something has kept me awake, and I'm suffering from backache right now. And she passes the test. And the prince and princess, they get married and happily ever after, or maybe the point problems have started, right? Okay, now in the story, I would like to use P as a metaphor for our problems, right? We all have problems. And students also have their own problems, and they are like an iceberg. We see only the surface part, but it's like an iceberg. They are hiding their problems from us. So we should have a sense of connection with our students from the very start of the semester, from the very start of the classes. Now, I would like to suggest you some activities. Maybe you are familiar with all of them, most of them, some of them. I don't know. I would like to suggest you some exercises. And to ensure trust and establish a learning community, we should use icebreakers, right? But generally, we tend to use them at the beginning of the semester. But we should use them when necessary. When you have some time left, you can use them. And this is one of my favorites. Maybe some of you are using them. Maybe all of you are using them. Let's try. I will ask you to use the chat box. Okay, but be quick, okay? I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. I guess we can do it very quickly.
Hocam, because of the connection problems, some of the teachers sent a message, they moved to YouTube.
Sure. They can watch from YouTube. They can watch the recording. Okay. So write an acrostic poem. Okay, not whole poem. Okay, don't be afraid. Okay, with the letters of your name. I will give you an example. Very easy. But with some letters, it's somehow problematic. For example, Arzu is my name. Okay, you know, I'm going to write an acrostic poem with the letters of my name. Ambitious with A. R, reliable. That is a bit problematic. There aren't many adjectives. Zealous and unlucky. Okay. So, Arzu, you can see, okay, use the chat box. You don't have to use adjectives. You can use object, for example, with A, you can say apple, but those words should define you, should define your characteristics. With I, you can use Istanbul, for example, if you love Istanbul, or you can use adjectives, anything, starting with the letter of your name. I will stop screen sharing. I would like to have a look at the chat box. Okay, I'm waiting for your acrostic poems, dear colleagues. I guess one participant in the waiting room, hocam.
I was focusing on the acrostic poem,
okay.
so I missed the participants because I'm trying to write the poem.
Okay, no problem. I have noticed. Okay, in acrostic poem, I'm waiting, and also the ones who are watching from YouTube, you can have your paper and you are writing your acrostic poem, right? I can feel that. Okay. Sibel hocam, right? Very nice. Your acrostic poem, sensitive, interesting, bold, easygoing, and lonely. Okay.
Lonely.
Lovely. Okay. Lonely.
That's a nicer one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That would be better.
Okay. And any other? I'm waiting for the others to write their acrostic poem. Any other? I know it's a bit difficult task. Okay, you can give more than 2 or 3 minutes to your students. You don't have to use personal adjectives. You can use any object, any fruit, vegetable, any country, anything. I'm waiting for some seconds. Okay. It's difficult to find, huh? The words that describe you. Shall we continue?
It doesn't have to be an adjective.
Okay. Esma Hoca has written. Esma Hoca has written energetic, sincere, mindful, and apple. Okay, thank you for your reply, Esma Hoca. Aslan Hocam has written aesthetic, sincere, lovely, and interesting. Very good. Thank you for your reply. Okay, I guess we can consider them as examples. If our colleagues write them to the chat box, we can read them aloud. Let's continue with some more exercise suggestions. Okay. Here, let me find. Okay. So we have tried to write acrostic poems. And now we can use this activity at the beginning of the semester when necessary. And another suggestion. Right, I guess most of you are familiar with this exercise, with this activity. Write 2 numbers, a name and a place, okay? Ask students to find its importance in your life. They can ask you questions, try to guess what they come to mean. Sibel hocam, so ask me questions, okay? Let's have an example for our colleagues. I will show you 2 numbers, a name and a place. Okay, 20. Sibel hocam, ask me a question about 20.
Okay. Okay, 20 is the time you had your driving license.
Oh no. No.
No.
I wish I had been so lucky. Any other guess?
Age you, okay, the age you moved to Istanbul.
Maybe closer. I have been living in Istanbul for 20 years. Okay.
Oh, close, yes.
Right, close.
Close.
And this number, hocam, 15. 15. What is its importance in my life?
When you first celebrated your birthday. I don't know how it came to my mind.
Come on, hocam. How come you can't know this? I have been teaching at Yıldız Technical University for 15 years.
Yes,
Right.
Right.
And this one, Şenur Kılıç.
Is your primary teacher that you love most?
Not primary school teacher, but role model teacher, English teacher. Right, I took her as a role model and I decided to become an English teacher. So she's a very important person for me. And she has still been teaching English in Antalya.
Oh, that's very nice. Let's say hello to Şenur Kılıç hocam.
Okay, I will send a recording to her and she will be very happy. And the last one, a place, Dumlupınar. What is its importance?
Is that the place you were born in?
No, I was born in Ankara. Dumlupınar is the name of my primary school, Dumlupınar Primary School.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can use such activity in our classes. Students can also write theirs and you can try to guess their meanings as a class activity. For example, students can ask each other questions. So this is one of my suggestions. And also another suggestion, I will use Mentimeter, okay, because this one a bit a private one. I will ask you to write your problems, okay, a problem of yours anonymously. I won't see who has written that problem. For example, I have a headache, I can't focus on reading anonymously. I will share the link from chat box. Then another student can come up with a suggestion, okay, a solution to that problem. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen and share the link to you. Okay, could you please click this one and write a problem of yours, a minor one, okay, not a major one. Maybe we may have difficulty in finding a solution. Okay, please use this one and I will share my screen to see your answers. Okay, and now lack of sleep, okay. One of our participants is suffering from. Any other problem? I have a knee ache. Okay, I hope you will get well soon, hocam, right? Any other problem? So in the classroom, we're catching up the pacing. Students need to be quick, right, colleagues? They can write their problems and then we can nominate one of the students or they can be volunteer and we can say, oh, okay, let's come up with a solution to your friend's problem. And those are written anonymously, so they don't feel themselves at risk. So they feel free to share their problems with you. Any other problem? Okay, maybe we can come up with a solution. Sibel hocam, for example, for lack of sleep, any solution, any suggestion you can have for this one? You should do blah, blah.
Okay, you should drink some herbal tea. Try drinking some herbal tea. Okay, and you should stop using your mobile phone, or just get away from the screen.
Before you go to bed.
Else. Yes, before you go to bed, try not to be involved in anything to do with mobile technologies or computers.
Okay.
I have
and also, one of our colleagues has written another problem. I sometimes feel demotivated. Also, one of the problems. I don't know, Mehmet Hocam, can you turn on your mic if it's possible? Maybe we can hear one of our participants.
Sure,
Mehmet Hocam, choose one of the problems and come up with a solution. Knee ache or demotivation?
Well, I can't think of anything right now, but maybe, well, I am the one who has a knee ache.
Oh, okay, get well soon, Hocam.
Thank you, Hocam. For the person who said I sometimes feel demotivated, well, they could, when they feel demotivated, they could talk to someone that they are close with.
Definitely.
Yeah, it could help maybe.
It could help. Thank you. So we have tried this. I will stop sharing my screen and I'll continue with my presentation. Okay, so students can come up with solutions like this, you know. Okay. And for example, in another activity, for example, say a compliment. Students can make compliments to each other, for example, and they can, in face-to-face education, it will be better because they can see each other. Oh, I like your shirt. I like your hairstyle. You can have a ball and they can toss it all around and they can make a compliment to each other. And so positivity increases in the classroom and you can establish your learning community with something positive. Okay, and I would like to continue with a story. Maybe you are all familiar with it. I don't know. It took my attention. A teacher brought 2 apples to the classroom and she told the students that she picked up the apple she had dropped on the floor. One of the apples, she dropped one of the apples on the floor, and one of the apples is okay, no problem with that one. And she says that I picked up the apple I had dropped on the floor, and then she says that, oh, look at this apple. I don't like this apple. This apple has a horrible color, you know. I don't like this apple. Many negative qualities about that apple. And the other apple, which she hadn't dropped, she says many positive things. Oh, your skin is beautiful. What a beautiful color you are. Okay, 1 apple negative, 1 apple positive things. And at the end of the class, she held up both apples, and again they talked about the similarities and differences. There was no change. Both apples still look the same, no difference in their appearance. Then she cut the apples open, as you can see in the photo. The apple they had been kind to was clear, fresh, and juicy inside. But the apple they had said unkind words was bruised and all mushy inside. So when people are humiliated, when they are given less value, especially children, they feel horrible inside. And sometimes they don't show this to other people. They don't tell how they are feeling. But if the apples hadn't been cut, we would never have known how much pain we had caused. So we should be responsible for what we are saying, what feelings we are causing in other people. So, and you know, Sibel Hoca has mentioned, I am interested in art. I would like to suggest you an activity which you can connect art with language. For example, you can have this as a pair activity. You can ask them to work in pairs. For example, one of the students is in the person is the person in the picture, okay? He or she is going to put himself or herself in the shoes of that person. And other student will ask questions to that student. How old are you, for example? Where are you? You can use them at elementary level even. They are easy. They can come up with such questions. What is your job, for example? Where do you live? What are you thinking? And that student, the one who has put himself or herself in the shoes of that character in the picture, can say, oh, for example, I am in blah, blah. For example, I am an artist. I am thinking about my husband. Anything that he or she wants to say. How are you feeling? You can do this as a pair activity. Who is the man, for example, in the painting? Many questions they can ask. They can have this as a pair activity. And you know, I have published this one as an article. If you are interested in art, connecting art with language, you can have a look at that one. And you can find more details in that. Another piece of art as a warm-up at the beginning of the lessons, you can show a piece of art, a piece of, for example, a piece of painting, and then you ask questions to the students. First, descriptions. You ask students to describe the painting. What do you see in the painting? Very basic questions, okay? And you say, what is that lady doing at elementary level, at pre-intermediate level? They can answer these questions easily. Then you can give some background information about the artist. For example, Edward Hopper in this case. You say that Edward Hopper often depicts isolation in urban life, you know. Generally, he depicted a woman, lonely woman. And then after you gave some background information, you can focus on some details, some critical thinking questions. How does she feel, for example, in this painting? Have you ever felt like that? You can connect that piece of art to students' personal life. Okay. And do you like, for example, going out alone or with your friends? You can ask your questions. Have you ever wanted to stay alone? You can ask some opinion questions. Okay. So you can try this. And also, you know, we are having our online classes and our students tend not to turn on their cameras. Okay, it is quite understandable. They don't feel relaxed. They don't feel okay with that. But we can ask our students to use video platforms like Flipgrid, Screencastify, Loom, or iMovie. And they can record their own video. They can send it to us, or they can show them during the lesson. For example, at least we can see their happy faces, smiling faces, hopefully. We can do this. And we can use check-in questions. For example, taking the temperature of your students' emotions is a great way to start the lessons. There are tons of questions on the internet. I have chosen one of them. I can share the link with you. This one. Okay. You can ask them some check-in questions at the beginning of the lesson or when necessary. But I guess we should refrain from asking questions related to their families. You can have a look at those check-in questions. Okay, let's continue. Because maybe they are going through some experience we never know. So we should be careful when we ask questions related to their family, very private issues. So, and another one, as a teacher, we should share our own interests, likes and dislikes, as I have said, and we can use 2x10 approach. For example, there can be a problematic student, disobedient student, or disinterested student in our classes. We can have a personal conversation with that student 2 minutes every day for 10 consecutive days. Apart from a topic, unrelated topic to school subject. For example, about his or her hobbies, his dreams, her dreams, we can talk for 2 minutes and it works. And even the smallest detail can help you build strong relationships with your students. But as I have said, we should refrain from asking personal and direct questions about their families. If they prefer sharing, it's okay, but we cannot know what they are going through. And also we can ask them what they have watched, what they have read, what they have listened lately. And don't consider those moments as a waste of time, right? Some teachers do that. Oh, I need to catch up with the pacing. I don't want to spare time for that, but don't consider them as a waste of time. So we can, maybe as a summary, we can say that we can build relationships by treating each student as if they were our own child. Kendi çocuğumuz için istediğimiz eğitimi başkalarının çocukları için de istemeliyiz, right? This is very important. We want our children to have higher quality education, so we should offer higher quality education to our students. And we should model positivity, vulnerability, and kindness. We make mistakes. We, as teachers, we make mistakes, and it is fine. Be a role model, apologize in front of your students, focus on their strengths, focus on their passions, focus on who they are becoming, not just who they are in front of us. Just see their potential, right? And saying every student's name is very important. Just call their names at least twice or 3 times every day. And ask students how they are at the beginning of the lesson. And, in online teaching, sometimes we act students as if they were all criminals, as if they were all potential cheaters. We said that, oh, I know students, you are going to cheat in the exam. Please don't do that. Don't act them as if they were going to plagiarize. Maybe some of them may do that, but don't label them. Don't put them in the same bag. Don't accuse students of being potential criminals. And please see it normal when they make mistakes, and see it normal when you make a mistake, and use inclusive language in the classroom in terms of gender, in terms of religion, in terms of ethnics. Use inclusive language. Don't discriminate any student. Don't have teacher pets in the classroom. And sometimes it is relaxing to have teacher pet. What I mean by teacher pet, for example, I have a very successful, hardworking student, and I ask all my questions to that student. And I feel relaxed. And I can catch up with the pacing. It is okay for me. And I feel myself as a successful teacher. No, I have other students as well in my classroom. Please don't act as if they were not there. And praise and validate your students, encourage your learners, and highlight the things that unite you as a classroom community. And for example, if one of your students is saying that, oh, teacher, I feel bored, I feel tired, just show empathy. Just say that, oh, I also feel bored, I also feel tired. Don't make them feel alone. So these are important. And also giving timely and right feedback to our students. We should keep some questions in our minds. For example, are we giving students a meaningful feedback that you care about them? Or are you constantly telling your students to hurry? Okay, just finish your paragraph, finish your essay. We don't have time left. Are you just like that? Or do you really care your students? And in your conversations, are you focusing on what your students have accomplished? Or are you concentrating only on their mistakes? Please don't do that. Just celebrate their accomplishments as well. And just, are you telling your students to do one thing? For example, you ask them to listen to you, but you model quite different behavior. For example, you don't listen to their problems, or you are reading something while you are listening to them. Don't do that. Just model the same behavior you expect your students to do. And are you paying more attention to some students than other students? This is also critical. We should reflect on ourselves all the time. Sometimes, as I have said, we have teacher pets in the classroom, our most hardworking and successful students, and we focus on those students. And because we feel not at risk when we are dealing with them. And we should load our feedback with positivity. For one negative feedback, we should have 3 positive feedback. I know you are saying, Arzu, but it is difficult to find sometimes. I can agree with you, but we are teachers. We can do whatever we want, right? We are strong. And we should make our students feel better in our classes. So for one negative piece of feedback, we should give 3 pieces of feedback. And it is important to remember praise should be public while corrections should be received in a more private atmosphere. And if you humiliate a student, if you reprimand, if you shout at a student in front of his or her classmates, please apologize to him or her in front of his or her classmates. Don't apologize, just taking him or her alone to a side of the school and apologize. Just if you do something in public, apologize in public. And we should check our students' feelings. Just saying, I'm not okay, I guess will not help us. Just understand whether they are sleepy, whether they are bored, whether they are tired. So we have different scales of feelings, a wide range of feelings. And maybe you have seen this on social media. You can use this on Padlet. You can use this on Mentimeter anonymously. They can write, I wish my teacher knew. They can fill the rest of the sentence. I wish my teacher, for example, in the example, I wish my teacher knew how smart some of the bad kids are. Huh? Okay, we can do this on Mentimeter, on Padlet, anonymously they can do this. Or face-to-face teaching, for example, they can roll up a paper, they can pass it all around and they can write, I wish my teacher knew, without writing their names. And in this one, what makes you feel loved? For example, you can use Padlet, you can use Mentimeter. For example, they can write what makes them feel loved. For example, maybe you can try some of them. Maybe these will make things easier in the classroom. And we should show them that you care. Be the reason someone feels valued, someone smiles. Maybe you are the only person who makes that person smile. Don't forget that. It helps to know that somebody wants to help you. Maybe you can't help much, but it helps to know that there's someone and he or she is ready to help you. And I would like to end with this quote. Some teachers taught the curriculum today, other teachers taught students today, and there's a big difference. I hope you are in the second category and you taught your teachers today. These are my references. Thank you so much. It's great pleasure for me to be here. If you like, we can go back to our reflective questions. Sibel Hocam can decide for that.
Hocam, I'm afraid we have already run out of time.
Okay.
We are already so grateful. Really, it's been such a great pleasure and such a useful session. I don't know how to thank you. Please believe my sincere
it is my pleasure, Hocam.
Ideas. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again on behalf of everyone here on Telegram, on YouTube. I'd like to thank you again.
Thank you, dear colleagues, for your kind comments. It was great to be here with you today. Thanks for spending your time with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So goodbye for now. See you again. Goodbye.